Hey guys, in this video tutorial I'm going to do a couple things for my clients. I'm going to show you how to upload files to your site through the MODX Manager, and I'm going to show you how to place an image in your text editor. So let's jump right in. So here I am at the MODX Manager login, which you go to your website and you type in manager after the .com or .whatever, and you'll get to this login screen. You enter credentials, click login, and you come to your dashboard. Now, the first thing you notice is you have two tabs over here. You got your resources tree and your files tree. In your resources tree, this is going to be just all of your pages. If these folders are collapsed up, or if you just want to get a full view of everything you have, all you have to do is come up here to this downward arrow and click on it, which is expand tree, and it'll expand every single folder within that tree, so you can see everything you have. There's all my pages. Now we're going to come over here to this files tab, and you're going to see all of the photos that I currently have available to me to use throughout the site. One thing to note is that you can also come over here, and these are all images, by the way. You come over here and you can hover on an image, and it'll give you a quick thumbnail view of the actual image in its actual full size. Now with some bigger photos, they get cut off a little bit out of the screen, but it still gives you a good reference if you want to know what file name is what file. So to upload a file, you're going to want to come up to the top here, and you'll see a little upward arrow on a picture of a file, and the little window says upload files. We're going to click on that. It's going to bring you up this upload files window. We're going to go down to this add button, click add, and that's going to bring up my desktop file browser. Now I'm already in the folder where all my images are for my photos for the site. If not, you just navigate to the folder you want. And for this demonstration, I'm going to be picking this flying motorcycle image right here. Now, one thing to know also is that you cannot select a batch upload in this browser window. For example, I couldn't click this image and add to it. I can't drag and highlight a whole group of them. It doesn't work like that. This is really only good if you have, say, maybe up to 10 photos to upload or 10 files to upload. If you got more than that, let me know and I will upload them via FTP. So for this demonstration, we're going to take this flying motorcycle, like I said. I'm going to double click it. And here it shows up. It's queued for upload. If I wanted to add more photos or files, all I'd have to do is click the add button again and browse and select another one. And then there's two. For this demonstration, I'm only going to have one, so I'm going to click on that second one. I'm going to delete it. So now we go over to upload, click it. You saw the file tree got refreshed there, and the note says OK, which means it's successfully uploaded. To verify, let's go find that image, which is 562268 right there. I can only see the bottom half, but that is my image. There it is. Now, to insert an image into a resource, you can go back to your resources tab, and I'm going to select a page. In this example, I'm going to select a page that doesn't have any images inserted yet. It's my weekly training course. Give it a second to refresh. And there is actually an image in here, and that's good. I'll show you how to delete one out as part of this tutorial as well. I'm going to go over to the site. I'm going to navigate to that same page so I can see my work. Here's weekly training courses right here. And there's the page. You can see there's only one image in there and a bunch of text. Go back to the MODX Manager. Now if I just want to simply remove an image, all you got to do is click on the image and click delete or backspace. Bam, there it goes. Click save. You always got to save your resource or it won't be updated. Tab back over to the website, refresh the page, and look, it's gone. Simple as that. So the first thing you want to do to choose where you want an image is to select what paragraph you want to line up in. Now you can select even within a paragraph to have it show up within one, but in order to not break up sentences and such, say you want it in the middle of this paragraph, you'd want to at least click at the beginning of a sentence. That way if it breaks it within the paragraph but on that sentence, it won't break in mid-sentence. So for this example, I'm just going to be inserting one page. There's quite a bit of, or one image. There's quite a bit of text. So I'm going to insert it down a little ways, not right at the beginning. I'm going to pick right here at the beginning of the second paragraph. You know what? I'm going to select the beginning of the third paragraph right here at the. Go back to my manager. Right here, the 8-week training course is where I want. I'm going to put my cursor right there at the. You can see it flashing. And I'm going to come up here to my editor buttons. Now most of these you will not use. The bottom row here you will. For this example, we're going to come up here to this little picture of an image where it says Insert Edit Image. Click that. And it's going to bring up this Insert Edit Image window. First thing you want to do is pay attention to what's defaulted here, which is image URL, which is simply the location of that file. We're going to click Browse. Now this pulls up the MODX Manager browser window. Now, one thing to note, I said that there was another way to upload files, and that would be from this window. If you notice, there's that same button for uploading files, and if I clicked it, it would bring up my uploading files window, which is the exact same one from the other method. And I could indeed click Add and go in and select a file and upload it from here. The drawback to doing that from here is that after I uploaded it, it would not immediately show up in this list. And even if I went up to here to this refresh tree and refreshed it, it would still not show up in this list. Without me, what I would have to do is I'd have to actually close this window out and close this other window out and then reopen the insert image window, and then I would be able to see it. So for that reason, it's best to upload them from the File tab as I just demonstrated. Now, whenever you open up this window, it resorts these images. It doesn't resort them in a good order. I don't know. I really don't understand what order it lists them in, but it's not in a named order. Maybe it's in a size order. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure because the default right here says sort by name, and it's not in that order. So the good way to do this is as soon as you open this window, go over here, sort by, reselect name, and bam, it'll resort them for you. If this doesn't refresh immediately, you got to give it a little bit of time so that it does. And if it doesn't anything show up, you come over here to what folder you want, you click the folder, and it will automatically refresh the page. So now that I've got the page refreshed, you can see the file I uploaded is right here, 562268. It's got that flying motorcycle. So I'm going to click it, and I can come down here to OK, or I can just double click the image. Now my image is selected. There's a preview box here which shows the image in its actual size. This one's been processed to 1024 pixels at the longest length, and that is the absolute largest I recommend using. You can even use smaller, say even 640 by 480. Say 640 pixels for the longest length. But I usually do them at 1024 in case I'm using an image for a full screen or a banner, where I do want it wide, like a 960 pixel wide image. That way it's here. Any bigger than this, you're going to have problems in your site. So, now I have in the image URL, I have the location of the file, which has been uploaded to the manager. And I have to come down here to this box and I have to put an image description. This doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you have to have something in here. The reason you have to have something in here is because when the HTML code is validated, it requires that you have a description. Really the only use of this description is if the image doesn't show up or doesn't get rendered properly, there's a word there instead. It really has no other purpose, but you need to enter something here for validation purposes. So image description, keep it simple. This one's just a motorcycle jumping, so I'm just going to put motocross. If you want to be more specific, feel free to be, but I usually keep it pretty general. The next thing you're going to want to do after you get these two boxes filled out is come over here to the Appearance tab and click on it. There's also, you notice, this Advanced tab, which we're never really going to even use. I don't even use this. So in this Appearance tab, there's just a few settings we have to do to get this image inserted. The first thing you notice is the alignment, and it's defaulted to not set. Now, if you left that as not set, this image would insert and it would push text above and below it. No matter what size you made this image, no matter if I made this 1 pixel wide and 1 pixel tall, it would push the text up and down, and there would be nothing to the left or right of the image. This is good if you want to, say, put a large landscape type image in, and you don't want any text to wrap around it. That's pretty rare, but it is one of the options. So let's leave that alone for a minute. Let's come down to dimensions. Now 1024 pixels is going to be way too wide for our purposes. For this site, and in general for most sites, the biggest you probably want to do is about 350 pixels wide. If you have it any wider than that, it's going to create too much space, and the text is not going to wrap around it properly. Now I got lucky with this image. This image is 1024 by 1024, so it's actually a square image, and these are the actual dimensions of the image in its full size. So let's change this. 350 is a little bit big. I want it to be big, but not quite that big. Let's say 300. So I type in 300, and then I'm going to hit the tab key. When I hit the tab key, it's going to come over here, and because by default this constrained proportions box is checked, which we will always leave checked, it's going to automatically update the height as well. That's perfect. So then we're going to come down here to vertical space and horizontal space. This is just the margin around the picture, and by adding 20 pixels, by adding pixels in the vertical space, which is we're going to use 20, and the horizontal space 20, 10 would be the minimum. 10 to 20 is what you want in here for these, as I find is a good standard. And what that's going to do is it's going to make a margin of 20 pixels on top and bottom for vertical space, and 20 pixels left and 20 pixels on the right for horizontal space. And if you notice down here in the styles box, it actually says margin 20 pixels. That's going to be 20 pixels all the way around. You can manually put in styles in this box if you understand style sheets, and I don't recommend that. Simply putting 20 and 20 for almost all intents is perfect. So after those boxes are filled out, you get your dimensions, you got your vertical and horizontal space. Come back up here to alignment. Now most of the time you're going to want to move it left or right, and if you notice there's a bunch of other selections prior to left or right, and most of these are not used. These do work. A lot of these are deprecated styles, and we're not going to use them. I never use them personally, and I don't recommend even messing with them. So for this example, I'm going to pick left. Now if you notice, you got a small preview window over here. It gives you just a rough estimate of how this image is going to be put in. So here's our image, and because I picked left, it's over on the left hand side, and you see this text is wrapping around it to the right. You'll also notice there's a space in here. There's this margin in between the text and the picture. That's our buffer. So then we got our alignment set, we got our dimension set, we got our vertical and horizontal space set. Over in general, we got our description, we got our file. That's it. We go down to here to insert, and we click it. And here it is. It shows up in the text editor. Not usually exactly how it shows on the page, but very close. It's a good reference. So then you got to remember to come up here and click Save on your page. Anything you do within this text editor or within your page resource editing will not be saved until you come up here and click the Save button. It's important to note. So we click Save. We're going to go back to our website on that page on the front end, and then we're going to click Refresh the page. And there's our image. You can see at 300 pixels, it takes up a little bit more than half the page. You can see we got our 20 pixel buffer here. There's 20 pixels, it works out really nice. And you can see the text wraps around it to the right. Let's go back to the back end, and just for demonstration purposes, let's change this image. Let's change the alignment. So in order to do anything with this image, we highlight it. If you notice, the Insert Edit Image automatically lights up when you select your image. We're going to click that button again. Immediately you'll notice that the link is still good, and also the description is good. We'll come over here to Appearance. And to demonstrate what I was talking about with the alignment not set function, let's go ahead and put that as not set. Let's increase the width a little bit here. Let's go 400 pixel wide, hit tab so it automatically updates the other proportion. And then we're going to click update. Now if you notice what has happened, it breaks the text. It pushes the text down, excuse me, and pushes the text up. It does not allow the text to wrap around it either way. We click on Save, go back to our website, click Update. You notice that it pushed it up and it pushed it down. That's one method to insert an image. Most of the time we'll either select left or right because you usually want your text to wrap around your image for easy reading purposes. So let's go back in, we'll select our image again. Go back here to the Insert Edit Image button. Sometimes this maximizes. Put it back to normal window size. Come in here to Appearance. And let's say that we didn't like it on the left and it was a little too big with the original 300 pixels right there. So let's make it 250 pixels wide. Tab over, updates the height. Come up to Alignment, and this time we're going to pick right. And you notice the preview box here updates that it updates correspondingly. Click Update, and now we see it in our text editor. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go back to my browser. I'm going to refresh this page, and here it is. So it's slightly smaller, still got the same buffer around it, and it's over to the right hand side now with the text wrapping around the left. So let's say that you wanted just to swap this image. You were fine with the position over here on the right, but you didn't like that image. So then we would click on the image again, come back up here, the Insert Edit Image box, click it. Let's resize that window. Some browsers will do this with a resize that window. I like to bring it down so I can put it back to its normal state. You can see our file is still selected and an image description, but we want to change this file. So we go back over here to Browse. That again brings up our file browser, which you could go ahead and upload an image, but again it wouldn't refresh here, so I recommend having them in place prior. So let's swap this with a different image. So we'll scroll on down. Let's say we want this to be this youngster on this motorcycle. So I'll highlight that, I'll double click it, and the image description stays the same. Let's say we want to adjust that description so it fits the image. Youngster on bike. Come over to Appearance. Let's say I was fine with it being still aligned to the right. Now if you notice, this image is not perfectly square. This is wider than it is tall, so it's more of a horizontal rectangle. But 1024 is obviously too big. So I did like the slightly bigger image. Let's max this one out though. Let's put this one at, well, let's say 325. Then we hit Tab, which will automatically update the height in the proportion. Our vertical and horizontal space is still set, and there's nothing else I need to set. So I'll click Update, and bam, our image is updated. One other thing to note is if you wanted to adjust it slightly, it wasn't, let's go back to the page, wasn't quite coming in on this page where you wanted. Let's demonstrate, save it. Refresh. So this was coming in too low. Maybe I'd rather have it up here in this paragraph. One thing you can do, and this is a little tricky, you might have to delete the image and try again. Sometimes it breaks apart sentences, so you have to come in and change stuff. But one thing you can do is drag and drop this image. So if I select this image, let's say I wanted to line it up. Let's see if I can put it over here at the beginning of that first paragraph at the word here. I'm going to grab my image. If you notice, behind the image, my cursor shows up, but only as a solid line. That's what I'm wanting to pay attention to. So if I bring it all the way over here, which is a little hard to see, a little tricky, but you can see I have it lined up right now at the beginning of here. I'm going to drop it. And bam, now I am more aligned to the second paragraph. Sometimes if you do this, for example, if you did it in the middle of a sentence, or even a word, I did it in the middle of offers, it actually broke that word in the middle, and it screwed things up. Don't forget about your Control or Command Z, which will undo what you just did, which will put that right back where it was. So now I have already dragged that over to the beginning of the here of the second sentence, which is the beginning. Let's click Save. Let's go back to our web page. Now when I refresh this, now this is aligned with this sentence. It should be up here along line with this sentence in this paragraph. And bam, it is. If you notice, it usually comes in a little bit below where you drop it. Because of that 20 pixel buffer, this is about around the beginning of the image, and this is where I dropped it in right here at that word. So this has been our image tutorial. I hope you understand everything. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or contact me through my website. I'll be posting this tutorial up on my site along with the rest. And I look forward to making some more tutorials for you to manage your site. Thank you.